What's going on, everyone? Chris Mack coming at you today with McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse Demon Knights Etrigan. And this is definitely one of my favorite Jack Kirby characters. If you guys want to pick this character up at the time of this recording, he is available on Big Bad Toy Store. But as I always say, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever there's going to get your action figures and comics and grab this figure. As we see Etrigan here looking awesome in the armor and the accessories, DC Multiverse logo, the demon there. I wish they would have put Etrigan. It is what it is. Side window as per usual with the packaging. On the back we get product shot, which it's not a bad photography piece, but I'd rather see some comic book art or artist rendition like we do on the Marvel Legends action figures. There are figures from the wave, so I'll make sure you get a close-up so you guys can check it out at your convenience. On the other side here, it says the Demon Knights, which I wish that would have said Etrigan. That would have been so cool. Nothing on the top, nothing really on the bottom. So with that said, is this figure worth your time? Let's crack it open and get a closer look. Etrigan the Demon was created by Jack Kirby, debuting in The Demon #1 from September 1972. DC had asked Kirby to develop a horror-themed hero, believing it would sell better than his beloved Fourth Wall saga. Reluctantly, he agreed, and while he forged Etrigan as an occult torchbearer, he resented how well the book sold. It forced him to sideline the Fourth World to focus on this snarling Prince of Hell. Pre-Flashpoint, Etrigan is summoned by Merlin during the fall of Camelot. To guard against Morgane Le Fay's dark ambitions, Merlin binds the demon to a mortal knight named Jason Blood, cursing both to an immortal existence. Centuries later, Jason works as a demonologist in Gotham City. There, he uncovers a poem etched in stone in the crypt of Merlin. Speaking the words transforms him once again into Etrigan, returning the demon to face off against Morgane Le Fay and her thirst for Merlin's secrets. Post-Flashpoint, the lore shifts slightly. Etrigan begins as a Ryman demon in Lucifer's court, but after enduring centuries of humiliation, he sparks a rebellion. As Camelot falls, Merlin again binds him to Jason Blood, this time not as punishment, but as a reluctant alliance. And together, they share one life between two cursed souls. Though his poetic cadence is iconic now, Etrigan didn't always speak in rhyme. That trait was popularized by Alan Moore during his Swamp Thing run, giving the character the full gothic mojo he needed to thrive in darker corners of the DC universe. Since then, rhyming has become core to who and what Etrigan is. And for a little bit of levity, in one extremely on-brand moment, DC's intergalactic brawler, Lobo, nicknames him Big Ears. The name Etrigan isn't just monstrous, it's mythic. A demon prince trapped by fate and yoked to a mortal man. He's not your clean-cut Cape Crusader. He's biblical judgment with fire in his breath and rot in his grin. So now that the lore is laid down, let's take a closer look at the figure itself. For this release, I would have preferred the original Etrigan uniform, which is kind of like this red, I don't know if you'd call it like a unitard or something like that, but it was like a onesie kind of red thing, and he had a purple cape, I believe. This is from a comic series called Demon Knights. I have not read it. If you guys have, let me know if it's worth a flip, and I'll check it out. But that aside, this armor is freaking awesome. I love how the way the metal just shines in the light, and all the Victorian or the medieval etchings on it. It's a cool logo here. I can't remember the dude's name, but this logo kind of reminds me of the villain from She-Ra, the guy that captured He-Man and She-Ra had to save him. I can't remember the guy's name, but this logo is very akin to that. He does look like Etrigan. The face sculpt is very much on point. You get the red eyes, the silver kind of, Hellboy demon ears. Not ears, what are these things called? Horns, and then of course the ears here. Good stuff all around there. Beautiful work. Purples look good with this. And of course he has to have his Hell logo there. All the spikes on the gauntlets look amazing. The chainmail, beautiful. The legs look good. Again, all that intricate detail work looks great. Of course, the little loincloth across here looks good, so it's loose, so it kind of flaps. Though I wish at this time, because this is an older figure, I wish that this would have been soft. Just like with the cape, because the only downfall for me is we're stuck with, again, these fat, ugly capes that when you just try to set a character down with these things, immediately with these stupid fat capes. McFarlane, DC, whoever does it, you have to futz with it to get it to stand, because those capes are so damn heavy, and I hate everything about them, and I just wish that they would die and just go away. But yeah, paint apps all around, beautiful. I do kind of wish that some of these pens would disappear. Like that, it's just takes over the whole gauntlet thing. I wish they would have made that penless in some regard. As for the articulation, it's not too bad for a bigger, beefier character. Thankfully, his collar is not too much in the way, so you can go that far. About that far back. Side to side with some play. Arm, you have to kind of be careful of the pauldron, or what are these things called? You know what I'm saying, shoulder pad. But you still can go 360. Does have the upper bicep swivel. The arm joint, I've worn this sucker up so many times, it barely moves. I hate that. I wish they would have done something better with that. That's as far as you go. Hands do the spinny and up and down motion. Does spin at the solar plex and the torso. So you get a good range of motion there, especially when you are trying to go down and back. Though I hate that with this one. I don't know if this is with other releases, but you can see the gap here. And so just be careful if you're trying to do a dramatic pose, and that's going to show. Legs go out that far. Does have the swivel. 90-degree knees. Feet up and down, and they pivot. Now, the one thing that I will give credit to this figure, he does have wider feet, but I seriously feel like, I don't know who, like, I don't know if this was like a sick joke or something, but I feel like someone over at McFarlane said, hey, we're giving them just the right amount of width on the feet, so let's make sure that we make it super loose, especially this leg. So you try to get them to do like a kneeling pose or whatever, that flops. And the same with the ankle socket. They'll just fall down real easy. And so those combined with the heavy cape, you're going to get that a lot. So if you're just going to pose them, definitely what are those things called? A stand, because he has a hard time standing up on his own. And it's frustrating with how beautiful this figure is. I wish they would have put a little more care into Etrigan. So speaking of stands, he does come with your regular DC stand. Whoop-de-doo, no one cares. Love this sword and the way it just reflects in the light, that nice sheen to it. You can tell that it's seen some battle with all the chafing on the blade. That looks great. Love how it just kind of goes up and then whoop. It's just a very cool sword. It fits better in his right hand. Unfortunately, his left hand's just opened a little too wide, so when you put it in there, it's really loose, unfortunately. So you're going to have a better time in the right hand. And I wish you would have had a butterfly joint, because it's hard if you want to do... I don't even think I was able to get him to hold it double-handed. It's a pain if you want to try to get him to hold it double-handed. So good luck with that. Oh, and this will probably happen to you a lot too. The hand's going to pop off. That is frustrating. But the sword is beautiful. The last thing that Etrigan does come with is the trading card. And this was back when they were doing action figure poses, which for the cards, I'm not a fan of. I'd rather see comic book art or artist's rendition. That's just a personal preference. What do you guys think? So I'll make sure to get a close-up here of the front of the card and the back so you can check out Etrigan's origin. So letting some of those things go. Like I said, the loose legs, the heavy cape, which I'm glad that these are finally starting to go the way of the dodo in terms of DC, or McFarlane, should I say. I'm happy, but I'll let it go. And of course, the kind of the looser feet, I'll let it go too. Because overall, it's a beautifully sculpted piece. And if you're a fan of Jack Kirby's work, this is one that you want in your collection. Now here's Etrigan, next to some of the more monstrous, minus Ollie, of course, characters from the DC kind of dark universe. This is the Page Punchers John Constantine that we just recently went over. This is the Deluxe Swamp Thing, which I'm itching to go over. We will eventually. The Gold Label Dead Man, and this is the Silver Age releases of the Green Arrow. And I gotta say that it's such a shame that in terms of DC, that a lot of the more Vertigo-esque, and kind of the more Justice League dark characters are kind of really underutilized and underrated. Because, I mean, you get Zatanna, you get John, you get Etrigan, you get Deadman, and then Swamp Thing thrown in the mix, and it's always entertaining, and it has that really great old school, like Silver Age DC Marvel horror feel to it. So I love whenever I see these characters come in. And then kind of the same with Green Arrow, where he's so underutilized. I think it was Neil Adams' run with the team up with him and Green Lantern. Those were some of the best Green Lantern, Green Arrow stories, and just kind of solidifies that relationship between Hal and Ollie. And just putting all of them together like this, if you are a big DC junkie like me, these are characters that you definitely want in your collection. Now, for Etrigan, I wish that, you know, he maybe was a little more publicized, because from what I understand, this character, this release was more of a peg warmer. I do wish that McFarlane would have released an OG version first before doing this Demon Knights, which I've never read. If you guys have, let me know if it's worth a flip or not. But the armor is really nice. And of course, it looks like Etrigan. And as I say, I'm just a Jack Kirby junkie, and same thing with Alan Moore. Who is your favorite Justice League Dark character? What are you going to do with these figures? Are you going to do them by teams on a shelf? Are you going to do action poses? Are you going to do action figure photography? Take some photos and share us with them over on the socials. I had a lot of fun with this figure. I'm a big Jack Kirby fan, so having Etrigan in my collection just makes me one happy little collector. There are a couple of things that drive me up the wall, which is, of course, the stupid heavy cloth cape that kind of knocks him down. And then, again, we finally get the wide feet, but then they're like, hey, the feet are wide enough to hold him up. So let's make it harder for fans. So let's make his leg joints super freaking loose so that he has to always be on a stand and fall over. That's some piss poor quality. That aside, though, having an Etrigan character, even though it's not the OG uniform, I can forgive that because the sculpt looks amazing. And so I'm happy to have it. I had some great time with the photography. So what do you guys think? Are you fans of Etrigan? If you are, please first and foremost support your local comic shop or wherever it is to get your action figures and comics, and grab this figure. If you've enjoyed this review, really would appreciate taking a moment to like, share, and subscribe. Helps the channel more than you could possibly know. And if you won't mind hitting that fancy little Etrigan bell, next subscribe, that way as I get to upload content, you guys get notified. Come to the channel, and I love talking with you, hearing your thoughts and feedback down in the comments or the socials, which I'll make sure the links down in the description. So with all that said, photo slideshow coming up next. Hope you all continue to have an absolutely amazing day reading, and happy hunting, everyone. Hey y'all, I got some action figures up for sale to make room for future reviews on the channel. If you're interested, hit me up on the socials or shoot me an email. I'm only using PayPal for now. Check out the Google link in the description for pricing and availability. If something grabs you, we can work out a price. And just a heads up, shipping will be additional based on your location. Thanks for supporting the hunt.